Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news show. We talk about various shows that are in development, renewals, cancellations, premiere dates, bit of casting, whatever. At the end of the show, we also pick our favourite episode of TV of the week, and this is what we do every week. So, yeah, Connor's here.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm always here.
Usually, yes. We're all a bit late this week, actually. Normally we record this on a Friday and put it up early Saturday. It's actually Sunday. We ended up having a stacked weekend, and because of that, TV news, movie news, and trailers are all recording on Sunday night, which is, and this is the start. This is the start of this gauntlet. Yep. So, this is.
I have some whiskey at the ready.
This is me before I'm. So when you get to the end of the movie news, compare it to the start of this one, and just see my mental state, and see how I'm feeling at that point, because I feel like it might be a little bit different. But hey, so without further ado, let's get into things. So first up, I always like to start with renewals and cancellations and whatnot. Glow got renewed for season 3 at Netflix, which is delightful news. Me and Matt have been praising that show quite a bit. It's very, very good.
Cool.
Got nominated for a bunch of Emmys, so we were kind of expecting a renewal, but nice to get a confirmation all the same.
Cool.
Also renewed by Netflix, along with Channel 4, is The End of the Effing World, which came out, I think for season 1 of that came out last year, what do I say?
No, it was earlier this year.
I feel like it's been longer than that.
Very early this year.
It feels like it's been a while, but it's a bigger gap from when it aired to when the renewal came.
Yeah, I wonder if that's to do with Channel 4, because Netflix are usually very quick on renewals.
And in delightful news, we have a cancellation.
Oh, we do.
The Big Bang Theory, with its upcoming 12th season, will be finishing its 12-year reign of terror on the airwaves when it finishes. And it was funny, I was reading a little bit of the articles about this. There was an article like 2 days before this went out where the head of programming or whatever the position is at CBS was saying, oh no, we're very hopeful that Big Bang Theory will be coming back for another year. And apparently all the cast get called into like a meeting whenever they made the decision from their rehearsals or whatever, and they were expecting it to be about what they're going to do for the next 2 seasons. They were expecting another, because the last couple of times have been renewed for 2 years at a time.
Yeah.
And then they were just told, now we're ending. So no one really knows why the
Scuttlebutt is it's Jim Parsons.
Oh really?
That he wanted to move on to other stuff.
And everyone else is out of the regular job.
Because, like,
I mean, don't get me wrong, I hate the show. I'm glad it's over, but.
Yeah, one of the guys, I can't remember which one, did say like last year that maybe 12 is enough.
Damn right, it's enough.
But but he was going, you know what? Maybe it's it's time to go spend time with the families instead of doing this every day. But Scuttlebutt is it's Jim Parsons who's gone, do you know what? No, I'm done, and they can't really have a show without him. It
revolves around him more than anything. I feel like you could lose. You couldn't lose him, the one with the glasses, or Penny.
Yeah,
those are the 3 you need. I think the other ones could probably get replaced if need be.
Yeah. Push.
But those 3 are the ones you need. But let's be honest here, double digits. If you get to double digits in your seasons, you've had a good run. Don't be shocked that it's over.
Yeah, they were all getting like over 1 million per episode
for the last few seasons. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so. They if they were responsible with their money, they should be pretty comfortable for the rest of their damn lives. They'll be fine.
Should really bloody.
I don't know. Those reckless actors, you don't know what they're doing. But yeah, so I mean, if you like the show, then yeah. But you got 12 years. So I mean, it's hard, if you like the show, it's hard to be that upset when you got 12 years out of it.
Yeah, and you got to spin off.
Who knows how long that'll last. But for those of us,
probably a lot longer, because Jim Parsons only has to do voiceover for that one.
Yeah, that's I mean, if he's only doing a little bit of voiceover per episode, how many that's like one weekend in a booth every like 3 months or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not a lot of work.
He can record half a season's worth in a weekend. Yeah. I'm sure.
I wonder even if they actually make sure the scripts are ready up to a certain point so they can record all his voice work in advance.
Wouldn't shock me.
Just so that, because.
Or at the very least, get his parts done. Or get a general outline of the script and do, because I imagine he only does start and end of episodes.
Oh yeah, I've never seen an episode of the show.
Me either. I mean, that's the usual format though. Bit at the start, bit at the end. maybe the odd thing in the middle, but they'll probably get the start and end stuff locked down pretty early for him.
So you can just do it in one go. One 12-hour session in a booth. Might even take 12 hours, to be honest.
The rest he just records on Skype.
I mean, well, that's the thing. You joke about that, but I mean, if he has a decent mic, he can literally just do it at home. It's fine.
Yeah.
So hey, anyway, I mean, I'm honestly assuming he does that though. I'm sure he still goes into a booth, but
he could potentially. I'm sure a lot of serious voice actors have a booth at home so that they can do.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of voice actors do, and a lot of video game voice actors do.
Yeah.
But anyway. So yeah, if you like the show, you got 12 years out of it, so you can't be too upset. They know they're ending as well, so they can write a finale. So I mean.
Yeah, this is more than early.
So you're getting everything you want out of a show ending. You got 12 years. They know it's ending. You should be fine. And for those of us who hate the show, finally,
Mother of God, it's finally dead.
Death to it. That Flash logo will outlive this stupid show and stop being recognised as the Sheldon T-shirt. Thank you very much.
No, it won't. Not for a while.
It'll be a while, but I mean, in 20 years' time, we'll be on our fourth Flash movie, maybe our second Flash TV show, and it's not. I mean.
No, it's true. I think it'll be the Sheldon shirt for about another decade, probably.
Yeah, maybe a decade. It depends on the age range, though. I mean, if the people who are like watched it now in 10 years, sure. But I feel like the ones who are just hitting like 20 in 10 years, nah, they'll be into whatever was around in their teens.
Depends if it's on Netflix or not.
Don't stop putting damper on this. It's ending. It's finally dead. Be happy.
I know.
Moving on. Freeform has announced that Siren Season 2 will premiere in January.
Already?
Well, it was January last year as well. I think it was.
It
was at one point. Maybe get pushed to like March or something like that. But it was around that.
I'm sure it was.
And yes, we still owe everyone a review of the pilot. I'm not. I haven't forgotten.
Yeah. But I mean, everything this weekend is late, so that is clearly not happening this weekend. I'm really intrigued to see one. It was end of March that it started.
I think it was January at some point, and then it got pushed. I feel like I remember January being a thing.
Maybe, but that's why I feel like it feels early, because it only finished at the end of May.
Well,
so.
You know what? You sacrifice quality for speed.
You do. You definitely do.
Right. The goal now is to do the pilot before the second season premieres. That's the goal.
Seems achievable.
You know what? Christmas Day. That's your Christmas present. You're getting signed.
I'm sorry, but Doctor Who takes precedence.
I'm not saying we'll record at Christmas Day, you tit.
I wouldn't put it past you. That would be your punishment to me for starting this.
That's a good point. It's your
Christmas
fault.
Day.
It's your fault. If you'd just listened to me, we wouldn't be in this mess.
Yeah. But the joke went on too long to not.
Is anyone really waiting for it anymore, though? I mean, I feel like you've all given up at this point, right? We can just be let off the hook.
If you hadn't kept mentioning it then, like if you hadn't brought it up this time, maybe we'd have slid away with it.
Nah. Someone would have brought it up in a really salty way later. This way, we own it. We own that we've not done it yet.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Anyway, next up, so some DC TV news, which we did cover on the TV from the Multiverse podcast as well, but just the important stuff here. So the crossover's coming this year, and that is going to be airing December 9th, 10th, and 11th over 3 nights. It's three shows this year, not the 4. Notable as well that Supergirl and Flash are swapping places. So Flash will be on the Sunday for the crossover, and then Supergirl will be on the Tuesday. And we were theorizing that's probably because if Batwoman ends up in the Supergirl universe, her world is probably going to be the more important one, therefore that's why it's ending there, and that makes some sense. Also, the news that goes along with this is that Tyler Hoechlin is coming back as Superman for the crossover, and if he doesn't pop up to the last episode in Supergirl, that also makes a lot of sense.
You know what? It's like, because we speculated a lot about that when we did the TV multiverse Thursday.
Yeah.
Yes, since then, Grant Gustin has actually said that Superman will appear in all 3 episodes.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, that's great. That means he gets to meet everyone properly then. I mean, admittedly, if they're in the Supergirl episode anyway, then surely they would, but still.
Yeah, but it won't be just, hey.
Yeah. You get to actually talk to people and and whatnot. But that's cool.
There'll be some interactions.
And he's bringing Lois Lane with him, which is notable because we're not seeing Lois Lane in this world yet. So we're getting a new Lois Lane. We don't know who's playing her yet, but that's happening. Actually, here's a little additional thing that an interesting comment. I mean, this is stuff we were talking about in the show anyway, but it was clarifying one of the details. We were commenting how this was later than they've done it in the past, the crossover, and it's about a week later than it used to be. Last year was even a week earlier than that. And what they're doing this year is that they're basically having their mid-season finales before the crossover, so they're not coming back for one more episode afterwards, which I think is goddamn genius. Now, it does mean they can't have any real cliffhangers for their mid-season finales, but to be honest, the cliffhangers usually suck anyway, so I'm actually okay with that. But, just think of Flash last year, ending that big cliffhanger, so it had to be after the crossover. But I'm kind of okay with them wrapping up whatever their chunk of the season is, and then having the crossover just be like a separate, standalone thing.
Can you imagine if for Arrow, the mid-season is him getting out?
Oh, that'd be funny. And it also means that Flash episode 100 will be before the crossover. It'll be the week before. So I think these are all the episode 9s as opposed to the 8s.
Usually episode 8s. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's cool. I have nothing to complain about. That was all good news. The CWDC shows can be up and down in quality, but nothing I read in those 2 bits of news were upsetting.
The new Flash helmet still looks a bit weird on that poster.
Well, I want to see how it is in motion. I want to see how it looks.
Yeah. It just looks a bit strange.
And also just a tidbit on Supergirl. They replaced Brent Spiner with Bruce Boxleitner for the vice president role, just because he had commitments and he couldn't get out of them. So we replaced him with Babylon 5's Bruce Boxleitner, which is cool. So yeah, and then another bit of DC news, although separate from those shows, we have to mention this. Brendan Fraser has been cast as Robot Man in Doom Patrol, and interestingly, we were speculating exactly the nature of the role. This article makes it very clear how much of the role he's doing. He is recording the voice, and he's also doing flashbacks though when he was still human.
Okay. Because when we had this conversation on Thursday, some articles were saying he's doing, just a voice role. Others were like, no, it's mocap.
So, Fraser will star as Cliff Steele, better known as Robot Man. A former race car driver, Cliff Steele was in a horrific accident that left his body uninhabitable. Uninhabitable is a really interesting way of phrasing it.
I agree.
But I get it in this sense because they're going to move him to a robot body, but...
Yeah, but it's not what you usually use.
Steele's brain was saved by the mysterious Dr. Calder, and he lives on in a powerful robotic body. Fraser will provide the voiceover performance for the character, as well as appearing in flashback scenes as Steele. So that's probably just going to be one episode, probably, where you see him.
Yeah, it'll be his episode.
Riley Shanahan has been cast in the role of Robot Man as well, playing the physical performance of the character in costume. So, there you go. So, Brendan Fraser.
In costume? Or is that just them saying, as
of the character on stage in costume is the sentence that is written in this article.
Interesting. That implies to me an actual, physical.
Honestly, I'd
costume.
hope it would be, because I feel like if he's going to be around that much, I don't want a CG character.
No, I agree. I think that should, fingers crossed, look better. But I think my assumption was they were going to try and mocap it.
Well, luckily you seem to be wrong, unless this article's just wrong.
Yeah, no.
So, bit of casting for a couple of things. Jane Levi has been cast opposite Renee Zellweger in What If. That is a Netflix show that just got announced last week. So, she's joined that. So that cast is shaping up. Jane Levi and Renee Zellweger. And then next up, also speaking of Netflix, Ajay Freeze, or Freeze maybe, who recorded in Lost in Space last year, has been promoted to regular for season 2. I don't think that's particularly newsworthy on its own. That was Penny's love interest. Why this is news, though, I think, to us who watch the show, is I don't necessarily think we expected to see him or a lot of other characters again based on the ending of the show. So that tells us that there's going to be certain stuff.
Yeah, especially not as a regular. I could see, recurring. Okay, his stuff.
We're trying not to spoil how season 1 ended, but let's just say we wouldn't have expected this. So this is interesting, just because. Oh wait, that character's going to be around more than we thought. Okay.
Yeah, that is
But hey,
interesting.
so yeah, so he was Penny's love interest in season 1. So
Not the best character, to be
no,
honest.
no, he wasn't. But I mean, maybe we have to develop him more this season. If he has his own thing this season, which he might, give him where we
Yeah,
left
yeah,
off.
could do.
You know, we could see.
Maybe.
Now, this is a weird link. Not only is this Netflix, but Selma Blair is the part of the story who was actually in Lost in Space as well, in like a couple of scenes in that one episode,
Yeah.
randomly.
Even just saying, oh, she was in that one episode feels generous, given how little she was
there's like two
actually in it.
scenes, which honestly I kind of love that they had like a known actor in a role like that. They just cut to just a male flashback character, but oh, it's Selma Blair. Okay, sure. So someone knew her well enough to ask her to do this for a day, and she's like, yeah, sure.
Probably, yeah.
So Selma Blair has joined a Netflix show called Another Life. It's a 10-episode sci-fi drama. Another Life centers on an astronaut Nico Breckenridge, which is played by Katie Sackhoff. I remember reporting this a while ago. Who is focused on searching for alien intelligence. She leads a crew on a mission to explore the genesis of an alien artifact. As Nico and her young crew investigate, they face unimaginable danger and what might be the very well one-way mission. Blair will play 21st century media influencer Harper Glass. What a name! Harper Glass.
That is such a TV name.
Yeah,
though,
TV or comic book. It's a character name. It's not a real name.
Yeah.
Who uses journalism, social media, and keen intelligence in an attempt to create one of the biggest stories in human history. Do you know what she is? She's the person on the ship who's got a floating camera following her around, and she's like talking about, and she's given the exposition by talking to her followers.
Yeah, we'll get the talking head stuff. Will be the exposition.
Which is not a complaint. I'm okay with that, but I'm just saying that's what it's going to be.
Yeah,
pencil it in. Hey, look at that, Netflix making something that I'd forgotten they were making, but it's clearly something we'll be checking out because it's a sci-fi show about aliens.
I feel
like
no. Let's be honest though. Netflix are making so much stuff that you
That's
can't
true.
remember all of it. You can't even remember all the stuff we're interested in because they have that much stuff we're interested in.
This one's definitely in the. This will be. We'll be watching this in about a year because now that they're deep in casting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a while yet.
Well, no, I was meaning that, and it's relatively soon compared to a lot of things that are just kind of. Yeah.
Oh, compared to some of the others, but still a while.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's in the now the finish line's been set. Like now it's a process, sure, but the process has begun and it's.
It has. It's started the process, but it's still pretty early in the process.
So next up, speaking of casting again, this is Apple's show though. This is the M. Night Shyamalan psychological thriller from Apple, which has no title yet, but obviously notable. So Lauren Ambrose has been cast in it, as well as Nell Tiger Free, which is a fantastic name, who was in Game of Thrones apparently. Lauren Ambrose was in 6 Feet Under, which is funny because so here the plot of the series has not been revealed, but it follows parents Dorothy and Sean Turner who have hired a young nanny named Leanne to care for their newborn child, which is interesting. This is like a psychological thriller because that description doesn't tell me that. I'm just like, oh, what's the psychological thrilling parts of it? I want to know. But Ambrose will play the mother, Dorothy Turner, and then Free will play the nanny, Leanne. Here's what's interesting, or what just kind of made me smirk about this, is that Lauren Ambrose in 6 Feet Under was the teenage daughter, and now she's playing the mother who's getting the nanny, and I was like, there was a little bit of like, shit, time has passed, damn it. Now she's the mum. I mean, sure, she could be a young mum. She has a baby. She's not like she has a teenage son or daughter, but still.
Yeah. One step at a time.
I'm just saying, damn it.
Yeah, give it 7 years, and that'll be what they'll be casting, and you'll be like, oh, I'm really old now.
Yep. Everyone's getting old. It's fine.
Think how they feel when you're using them as the benchmarks.
I know. I feel sorry for the cast of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the hit television show, you might say, because when I was watching that show as a kid, I think like Geller was like 18 when she started that show, and now when I watch it, I feel weird because I'm older than all the characters. Not even just in season 1, like I'm older than what they ever got to by the end of the show, which just means they were all like in their mid 40s to late 40s now. So good luck with that.
Yeah.
I might see someone in the reboot.
Yeah, I can see little small.
I know Alison Hannigan's been hankering for it. She's like, yeah, if there's ever a reboot,
that doesn't surprise me. Sounds about right.
Got to have your token ginger in the Buffy reboot.
Can be full-fledged ginger this time.
What's that mean? What was it? What?
Gonna have 4 of them.
4 of them.
4. We're gonna go full-fledged.
4 gingers. Oh no, the Earth's not ready for that.
Yeah. Do you know what the reality is? You can't do 4 gingers because it'll just throw off your exposure settings.
Do you know what's funny? I made a short film in university, and it just so happened the 2 actresses I got were both ginger, and none of us said anything. But on filming the scene, we were on a park bench, so we're having a conversation, and they just turned to me and said, "Are you trying to make some sort of joke that only gingers can be friends with each other?" And I'm like, okay, you're making ginger jokes. If the ginger audience are going to make ginger jokes that have 2 gingers, what good has anyone else got? You can't have more than 1 ginger, because you just end up having people going, "Oh, why is there so many gingers? There's not so many gingers in real life."
I feel like people question that when there's just one. It's like, "Ooh, there's a ginger."
But I thought it was funny that the 2 gingers sitting there were the ones making the jokes, and it's like, no one said anything, but you go for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, ABC is given a pilot production commitment to a reboot of Bewitched from Kenya Barris.
Of course.
Yeah, Bewitched. So it's the thing. Never saw it myself, the original. All the movie.
No, me either. But given how all that stuff's coming back around, it really doesn't surprise me.
They saw Charmed was getting made.
They were like, "Shit, can we get that ready for the following year?"
We want witches back on TV.
Yeah.
Again, Alison Hannigan's rubbing her hands, going, "Yes."
She is. She's like, "Oh,
Buffy's coming back. Witches are in style again. Oh.
Let's not forget Sabrina.
Sabrina, of course, yes. Like, Wesley, you look after the kids. I'm going to go and have a full-time acting job again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, she hasn't been in like much seriously.
No, I think it's because she's a mother with multiple kids.
Yeah, just there's little things here or there.
She's just, spending time with it.
I think the last time I saw her in something regular was How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, but even that was quite a few years ago now. Yeah, it
was a while ago now. Yeah,
I think that's really. I noticed that sometimes with actors, you'll notice if you look at their IMDb, there'll be like a weird 10-year gap in some actors. Who are a bit older now. And it'll be like, oh, they had kids around then, and it wasn't until the kids were maybe in their early teens where they started to do a lot more acting work again. You can see, they'll do a few things here or there, but you can see there's a big, they were chock-a-block, nothing but, movie. Bit of a sparse period.
You get a couple of small projects here or there, things that are only going to take them, a couple of weeks. But then it's like, well, okay, now I can be away for the kids for, 3 months if needs be.
So there we go. Bewitched is happening. So Bewitched is a half-hour single-camera comedy. It'll be a reimagined story featuring a biracial couple. The original Bewitched aired on ABC from 1964 to 1972 and starred Elizabeth Montgomery, a witch with magical powers who marries an ordinary man named Darren. Played first by Dick York and then later by Dick Sargent. Man, she had 2 dicks. Look at that.
Double dick, yeah. I was just about the same joke.
I love that. They went and recast the role and got another dick to do it. I mean, that's just...
I know it was intentional. It's like, no. They were clearly having too many jokes offset. They were like, we need to keep this going. Why wouldn't you?
Alright, next up. HBO has given a series order to a comedy called Mrs. Fletcher. The premium cabler originally ordered the project to pilot back in April. The series is described as a dual coming-of-age story exploring the impact of internet porn and social media on the lives of an empty nest mother, played by Catherine Hahn, and her college freshman son, Jackson White. Alright, so is it a comedy?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to go on, right?
So there you go. ABC's put in development The Thread, a half-hour comedy from Search Party feature scribes Michael Gagerman and Andrew Waller. The Thread is a modern ensemble comedy about a group of longtime friends leading diverse, chaotic lives who stay connected through a long-running daily text thread. Through the thread, the friends offer support, advice, and ridicule, altering each other's day-to-day life choices and changing the course of their lives. From that description, I'm going to assume that, well, they'll probably meet up in person occasionally. The concept of this show is that they're all doing different things, but the thread and them talking to each other on that.
This is incredibly realistic.
Sure.
in my experience anyway. You know, a group of friends, you know, maybe they go to university, college together, right? And then okay, don't necessarily move away, but you know, they'll get jobs, families, but keep in touch with just like, you know, it could be a text thread as it is here. Sometimes, you know, like a Facebook, WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Take your pick. You know, that feels super.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting like almost like an anthology, well, not anthology, but like, you know, each episode will have like 2 or 3 plots with like 2 or 3 different characters. Maybe they'll be in pairs even, but they'll be connected through the app. So yeah, this is a decent idea for a comedy.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the big thing this week. So there's a certain TV show from about 15 years ago. Set in high school with a blonde who.
I'm waiting for the swerve. Because do you know why I know it's a swerve? Because you already made your Buffy reference.
With a blonde who saved people, and fought evil monsters. Metaphorically speaking, we're talking about murders and and things of that nature.
Oh,
yeah. So this is Veronica Mars as is in gestation. There's a revival in the works at Hulu. With Kristen Bell, you know, on board to return as a detective in original series character. Rob Thomas is also going to serve as the writer who created the show and worked in the show throughout its 3 seasons and its movie. Warner Bros. Will produce it again. The deal's not final yet though, so it's unknown if it's going to go through. But I mean, they're in talks. It's also unknown if any other characters or cast would return. And that's actually okay in this sense. Now, I've not seen season 3 of Veronica Mars, and I've not seen the movie yet. Although this is probably a good enough reason to catch up if it goes through.
Yeah.
But I think the implication, like we always had, or I always had back when the show was on, and we're talking about doing a movie someday. And I don't think the movie ended up being this, the one they kickstarted. But I always assumed that, you know, especially now that there's actually been a time gap, right? Even the movie was X number of years ago now. Is that we'd cut ahead and she'd actually be like either a PI or working in the FBI or something. Like she'd you know, she'd actually have a career as opposed to just
have a detective agency,
as opposed to just doing it in like school or college like she was in the show. This is actually like a really neat one to come back to because it can have that natural fit where she was doing it kind of off the books as a student, and now she can just actually be doing it, and maybe even actually, you know, really, you know, tracking down like really big, you know, murderers or things like that. I don't know.
And I think you can get quite interested in that. Yeah, before she kind of just do what she wanted, right? No one was really holding her responsible. Whereas now, you know, okay, if she goes off book, that's actually maybe something to consider as to, you know, okay, is this worth it?
Yeah, that could be a thing. I would hope her dad showed up again. Now, admittedly, I didn't finish the show. For all I know, he could have died in season 3. But her dad, Keith Mars, he was played by I forget the actor's name. He was number 1 in Travelers, just for your reference.
Okay.
Daddy Mars. So I hope he'd come back. But no, that's good. And also, she's obviously on The Good Place right now. That's her main show on NBC. This would shoot around that. Which, I mean, this article points out that means it would probably be around like 10 episodes at most. But I think on Hulu, I wouldn't have expected more than that anyway.
I would expect 10 to 13 on Hulu anyway, but given that that's, you know, it's just a sitcom, it finishes quite early, I believe, a little bit earlier than usual. I think they finish airing that in like April.
Yeah, you've got a good 4 months there to go and shoot a season of this.
Yeah, I think that's quite comfortable to fit in.
She's clearly passionate about the role. She keeps coming back to it. She's always willing to come back to Veronica Mars. So.
Yeah, I think no one's ever questioned.
Do you know, I usually hate titles where it's just a character's name, but Veronica Mars is such a unique goddamn name that it works.
Yeah, you can't really argue with it, can you?
No. My favourite line ever in the show was when she was in a bit of a daze, right? She wasn't really paying attention, and her dad came up and knocked her on the head and said, "Earth to Mars," and I thought that was really funny.
Oh, that's good. That is good. I'd be using that all the time if someone's surname was Mars.
I'm like, that's damn funny. That's damn funny.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's shocking that I've never watched it, given that, you know, it's exactly my sort of thing. I like Rod Thomas, I like Kristen Bell. I should be watching it.
No. Also, it makes sense to me as well. This is in development, as we know why Zombie's about to have its last season. So obviously Rob Thomas is kind of prepping to jump from that,
lining up his next project,
over to back to Veronica Mars.
Yeah,
Sure.
why not? If it works, it works. It's easy money.
So that is that. So that was the big thing this week, I think. So back to now, this was something we knew was in development. But officially now, Apple has given a series order to Foundation. This is the Isaac Asimov novel adaptation.
Asimov.
Sorry. Asimov. What did I say?
Asimov or something like that.
Asimov. Yeah. Okay. I'll admit. That is a word where it's not even like I was looking at it and mispronounced it. I just assumed what it was and went for it without really looking at it.
You didn't actually give it a second look.
I think I said Isaac.
You saw the letters and went, that looks about right.
Well, let's be honest though. I feel like 90% of what you read, you just assume what it says because you're used to saying those words. Yeah.
Oh, it absolutely is. It's all context. It's all just pattern recognition.
So, that's why you always pause right before you're like, oh, this is a word I'm not used to. I have to think about this before I say it. David S. Goyer and Josh Friedman are set to showrun and executive produce. The series will revolve around a 1,000-year saga of the Foundation, a band of exiles who discover that the only way to save the Galactic Empire from destruction is to defy it. It should be on the CW because they could say "Dare to Defy" at the end of every ad.
Oh God. No, this is one of those classic books that I never got around to reading, but I've always wanted to. I'm pretty familiar with the plot in general because I've just heard a lot about it over the years, and some fantastic twists as well, which not something I intentionally looked up. Okay. Just things over time. I've
no
seen,
doubt we'll be covering this because it's right up our alley.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that Apple's doing. Apple are going to come out the gate with more stuff that Amazon already have. This is what it feels like at this point.
I'm a little disappointed this has ended up as Apple because when we first heard about this, it was just in production from a production company, and we didn't know it was Apple. I mean, damn it.
Nope.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what? I obviously, I mean, I'm not a religious person. I don't often make comparisons to the Bible or such, but I can't help but feel a little bit like Adam being tempted with the evil apple when it comes to that company.
Yeah.
Well,
not Eve that was tempted by the apple.
Right, but then she gave it to him, did she not?
But she ate it first.
I just said Adam because I'm a dude. That's all.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, get it right.
Okay, it's all made up. It doesn't matter.
I know. I'm not disputing that.
Anyway, so FX is developing a teacher. That's a teacher. So, which is fine because teacher on its own is a shit title. A teacher. Okay, that's a title. It's a limited series based on Hannah Fidel's feature with Kate Mara attached to star and executive produce. Fidel, who wrote, directed, and produced the 2013 film this is based on, will write the adaptation, direct and executive produce the potential series. A Teacher is an exploration of consent, abuse of power, victimhood, and the inevitable consequences that occur throughout a community after a female high school teacher, played by Mara, and her student are caught having an affair.
Okay. Yeah. I like Kate Mara.
She's okay.
I never think she's bad.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't really, for some reason, I really dislike her sister. I have no proper reason for it. It's just for some reason, Rooney Mara annoys me.
I think I can't get it.
she's got one of those faces that for some reason rubs me the wrong way, and there's nothing. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
There's no valid reason for it. It just is what it is. Sometimes you just don't like someone. You can't really help it.
I know that feeling.
It's okay. I mean, I don't know. I look at her now and think of Fantastic Four, don't I? So.
Yeah, not a finest moment. It's no one's finest moment.
I think of her in that wig, and for the reshoots, and just be like, oh.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's not what I think.
I'm not all responsible for that.
Here's what I think about when I think of her in Fantastic Four. I think of her saying, "Hey, listen to Doctor Doom over here."
Oh man, that movie was atrocious.
Next up, ITV Studios America has acquired the rights to Nina Sadowski's novel The Burial Society to develop it as a TV show, with screen producer Kathy Conrad and Epidemic Pictures and Management's Daryl Taja. The Burial Society, published by Ballantine Random House in January, is the first in a series of books about a mysterious, damaged, but highly skilled woman, Catherine, who has no last name, who rescues people from the intolerable, abusive, and dangerous situations. Her darknet-based witness protection program, the Burial Society, is the last hope for people who desperately need to disappear. So, yeah, it's like a black market witness protection program that she runs.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Interesting idea.
Do you know what? I didn't realize there was an ITV America.
I
don't think we've ever spoken about them before.
Yeah, I guess they exist. I mean, doesn't surprise me, but
I mean, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I just didn't know.
Next up, Hulu is finalising its deals for a pilot order for something called The Great. It is a drama limited series starring and executive produced by Ellie Fanning, and also starring Nicholas Hoult. Some more movie actors doing TV shows. Written, executive produced by Tony McNamara. The series details the rise of power of Catherine the Great, played by Fanning, and her explosive relationship with her husband Peter, played by Holt, the Emperor of Russia. Period piece, probably big budget.
Could be a bit dry.
Doesn't excite me, I have to admit, but I can see them putting a lot of money into this and hoping for some Emmys. This is the sort of thing they're doing to compete with The Crown, right? That's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah. So, but I mean, maybe if the quality's there.
Alright, so last up this week on the news, ABC has given a straight-to-series order to a drama to star Poppy Montgomery. I love how it says that as if I've ever heard of Poppy Montgomery. That will be co-production with France's M6 network. Reef Break will revolve around a woman who is a former thief who now works as a fixer for the government of a fictional island in the Pacific. It is a summer series. It's 13 episodes and it will air next summer.
Okay.
Summer network TV is not something I think about when I think of quality.
Yeah. But every so often,
yeah, it's
right?
not impossible. It's not impossible. But hey, that is the news. That is us.
Not quite. I've
God.
got something that I thought was a little bit interesting that you missed. Mainly just I wanted to remind people that it exists. The upcoming space comedy on HBO, it's untitled at this point, from Armando Iannucci, cast Hugh Laurie this week.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Yeah, I've got the description of the character. Laurie will feature as a charming and in-control American space captain called Ryan Clark, and he'll be the captain of a spaceship called Avenue 5.
Just give him his British accent, Jesus Christ.
I know. His American accent's not great, is it?
It's like nails on chalkboard.
Yeah. We don't actually know too much about the show. It's about space tourism about 40 years in the future. But I mean, I really like Iannucci. He's behind Thick of It, Veep. He did the Death of Stalin movie last year.
No basis for reference with Iannucci, but I mean, obviously Hugh Laurie I like well enough.
Yeah, I mean, he's a relatively notable name.
Yeah, so yeah.
But I'm pretty excited for it. They should be starting shooting later this year, so we should see that sometime next year.
Fair enough. But hey, so we'll pick our favourite episode of TV of the week. So why is it Better Call Saul? Yeah,
I will say, for the first time, Castle Rock might put up a fight. Not a serious fight.
No, Castle Rock had probably... I don't know if it's his best episode per se, but it was definitely its most unique episode.
I think it's probably its best episode. It was really focused. It knew exactly what it was doing. It had genuine emotion at the end. Better Call Saul's still better. It just is. But I thought it was worth a mention at least this week.
That's fair. But yeah, so that is TV news. Obviously, this is the time where we'll plug things, and obviously, if it's worth reminding you, actually, next week we do have another show starting. Amazon's Jack Ryan show is starting next Friday.
Oh, it is, isn't it? The first episode of that should be up before the news video,
should
right?
Be. Yeah, all goes to plan.
Yeah. I kind of forgot that was this week. It's really snuck up on me.
That's Friday. That's a 10-episode show. We'll be starting it, and assuming we were into it, we'll review the whole thing. But Episode 1 review should be up next Friday, probably before the news.
Yeah, it's getting some positive early
Yeah,
buzz with Krasinski being singled out as, you're making it interesting.
Yeah. No, I'll be curious. He's a. I mean, I've not really seen much Jack Ryan. I think I saw one of the movies once, because there's been like 3 different actors who've played the character in multiple movies.
There has, yeah.
He's kind of like a, shall we say, quieter action hero.
I can't believe you went there.
Just wait until he's directing a movie adaptation of The Silencer, and then I'll be cracking all sorts of Quiet Place jokes.
So will the rest of the world.
Do you know what? She'd be really useful in that movie, actually, in A Quiet Place. She could literally just make a bubble around them and be like, "Hey,
party time."
You want? It's fine. Oh dear. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, we of course are on Patreon, patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. If you want to support the channel and the show and everything we do, you can head over there, get some bonuses. We're doing the next Almost Cancelled Extra in the next couple of days. Which is like a discussion topic show, just kind of like the news show, except it's just we pick a topic about TV and we talk about it. We do one of those every other month that alternates with 121 Extra, which is the movie equivalent. You can get that show for $1 per month. That's in that tier, and there's other stuff, of course, higher up and so on. But you get if you're warm and fuzzy. If you can't do that, don't feel too bad. You can, of course, just watch ads on YouTube. Let them play. That really does help a lot. Like, subscribe, comment, all normal things. All of it's good. But that is us. So get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. But otherwise, we'll see you next time. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?